And then there were two. Welcome to our final foray into the secrets of Little Tregor. After losing half the team to the non-Euclidean wander of the lighthouse below, the remaining members of our Delta Green squad must now ascend back into reality. It's no more comforting, but it is ever so slightly more familiar. I'm Steve, this is Malt Magic, and we're playing Delta Green. The flesh might be free, but good therapy isn't, so all the usual trigger warnings apply, plus hopefully some interesting new ones that we can come up with tonight. Helping invent those are surviving squad members. I will allow to introduce themselves.
I liked it.
There we go.
The flesh is free, but trigger warnings aren't. I made it sound like we're going to get our tits out.
Who knows?
Free the nipple. Free the nipple. Hello, I am Danny, and I am playing Charles Chuck Jenkins. And last we saw Chuck, he was a sobbing, hysterical mess after abandoning his comrades to die.
Amazing intro. This is going to go so well, isn't it? So yes, I'm Matt. I'm playing Simon Spork Sutton. I'm also going to apologise in advance because our favourite Mr. Wizard is not here to run the stream. So it's on me. So if it goes tits up, it's all on me. Blame me, shout at me. It's all good. Don't at me because I'll just fucking ignore you. But yeah, generally, really looking forward to this. It's going to be a lot of fun going from 4 to 2 in this absolute horror show.
And from 2 to 0 in about 15 minutes.
Well, last week we entered into the confusing and illogical outer extent of what is known as the lighthouse below. It was a seemingly endless space of walkways and landings and doors, where through is around, forwards might be shorter than backwards, and left is Saturday. So interesting to navigate, to say the least. Surviving eldritch truths, with some slight impairment, impossible stairwells, meeting beings of fractured light. We did see some attrition. Mike Blade's hunt saw far too much of himself, or rather themselves, and fought it the only way he'd ever known how: self-destruction. Although how successful that was may be in question. How disturbing it was for his teammates was pretty clear-cut as they watched him crumple out of reality. Sanity had already been stretched thin in this extremely nonsensical place, and the ensuing exit was hastened by the arrival of something even worse, Shoggoth, wandering the halls between worlds, distracted only by the sacrifice of Chris Mad Dog Grey. And so it was fleeing from this through an archway to safety, our survivors, Spork and Chuck, found themselves somewhere a little more familiar. The base of the stairs that they believe should be the entrance to the lighthouse above. It's a small space. As they bolted through, they passed a large, at least seemingly oak door, left open, and in front of them more stairs spiralling upwards, but not as you might expect. Forming this slowly rising cone, this stairwell spirals outwards. It looks like you'll be ascending the tip of some great drill or screw that's been driven through the world. And towering up and outwards, you can see patterns of greenish glass wending their way through the bleached bone of the structure, glowing faintly in the light from below, but tracing thin lines far into the darkness above. It's into this that you stumble, both distraught in your own ways. And I think, therefore, I should hand over to you to continue the narrative.
So, last time, I think you're on mute, Matt. The last time...
I am sat on mute.
So, like, last time we saw Chuck, I was sitting sobbing, and you would just come running through the corridor after Mad Dog got obliterated. So I'll just be knees up to my chest on the floor. Just be like, I'm sorry. It's happened again.
I will ignore Chuck for the second, and I want to turn around. Is there any way of me closing a door or fortifying this area that we're in to make sure that nothing's going to follow us?
There is, and I say it looks like an oak door. It's hard to tell whether anything down here is as it seems, but it certainly from this side looks like a very large, very heavy oak door that has been left open. In fact, it's wedged open with a small triangle of paper. That looks very much like the kind of handiwork that you'd expect from Barry Cameltoe. But yeah, it looks pretty sturdy. Your experience down here is most things are more resistant and resilient than you would expect. So yeah, absolutely. And there is a bar across the back of it, so it looks like it's got a locking mechanism as well.
Okay, I'm going to remove the small piece of paper and see if I can just shove it close with whatever strength I've got left in this mild panic that I was in. But now starting to level back out into the operator I am.
Yep. Yeah, so there's no challenges. It's heavy, but it swings fairly smoothly. There's no hint of creak or groan from whatever hinge mechanism it sits on, and it glides unnaturally smoothly, further suggesting that maybe it seems like oak because your brain wants to perceive it as oak. But it is certainly a door.
Okay, I will shut it, put the bar down to ensure that nothing is going to follow us through. And then Spork's going to take a moment to just look at Chuck, look at himself, sees sort of the blood still pouring from his arm, and is immediately going to take out a field bandage and just try to first aid himself. That was from the weird shards of light that he got hit with earlier. So he's just going to try and do that and hopefully try and regain some hit points, if I may, Handler.
I'll allow it.
Excellent. Yeah. I've got to beat a 30, I will say, so it's not my best roll. But let's see what let's use that set of dice that's rolled lower than 30 already. So, not so much. That's an 80. So yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'm trying to do it with my sort of left hand over my right arm, and I'm not left-handed in the slightest, so it's just an absolute bugger's muddle of a knot. And I'll look to Chuck and be like, help, knowing he can't hear the clap, but...
And then I'll sort of see the peripherals of my eye, you waving your hands, and I'll look up at you, but I can't help anyone anymore. I failed again.
I'm going to look at my arm, look at Chuck, and forgive the noises in the background. My children have decided to scream their heads off if you can hear them. But I'll look at Chuck and just toss the bandage away. I'm going to place my submachine gun down, and I'm just going to kneel in front of him and just sort of hold his shoulders and then put my forehead to his. And just place my hand sort of on that shoulder in a reassuring grip. You'll see the emotions of... emotions, you'll see those feelings of consoling, of just trying to centre himself, but also at the same time centre you. You could probably feel his breath and the deep breathing as well, the way his shoulders go up and down, just letting out those really deep breaths. I mean, Spork's just lost his best mate as well.
I'm sorry I let you down, Spork.
Gonna lift your chin up. No. No. Level 7. It's what it means.
But like, I've never done it. I've only ever done level 5, and that ended as badly, or even worse than this. Why pick me for this mission? What have I contributed?
I'll sort of push him down and sort of sit him, and that I'll reach into my backpack and looking around. Fuck it. And I'll take out a small little gas burner and a little mess tin and just fill it with some water out of a canteen, a little bit of coffee, but also I'll take out a tin of what looks like some really, really dodgy UK rationed meats like corned beef. And I'll
No
place
spam.
that next. Yeah. I'll place that next to the burner and I'll just tap you. Drink. When it's ready, drink. Eat. And I'll pull the thing back and hand you a fork from a knife, fork and spoon set. Eat.
You remind me a lot of him, you know.
Who?
Kevin. I know you're
Who's
going to need
Kevin?
some context on who Kevin is. I'm assuming you've just asked me that. I can't hear what you're saying. Level 5. I told you, I've only ever done a level 5, and that was my last mission. And only me and Kevin made it out. Everyone died. I let everyone down. I picked the wrong moment to run. I mean, if you can still call Kevin, he's got half a leg and no arms. But he made it out. I think I redeemed myself in the end. But he would always make me coffee and spam fritters on there. Well, he called him a spam fritter. It was just burnt spam. But it helped, you know? Made me feel better.
It's going to tap you in the heart and tap you in the head. You survived. That's important.
I promised I would never let it happen again. The next mission has happened again.
Fuck it. It's the game. Listen, I know you can only understand so much of what I'm saying, and you're not going to get all of this. But let me tell you about my first job. Takes a big, deep, sort of shuddering breath. First job. Firm barely trusted me with a torch, let alone a rifle. Old RAF station, flaps his arms like a bird because he's a wanker. Up in Norfolk, makes like a six fingers gag.
Mm-hmm.
Skullthorpe, some UFO lot had moved in to the old aircraft shelters. Turned out they weren't just trespassing, they'd found something they shouldn't have. Got a fair way through doing something with it by the time we breached. At this point, I'm looking dead at the torch as I hold it, almost. Were 4 of us going in. Kind of like this, 4. Wasn't a full manifestation. Small mercies, but it was enough. Blades. I watched someone fold in on themselves like a coat going inside out. And then the fella on my 6 was behind me. Good lad. Steady, like you. He was closest when it happened. Didn't die. That would have been much kinder. He was still around somewhere, far as I know. Doesn't know what day it is most days. I don't say his name much. You know how we stopped it? Wasn't gunfire. Wasn't a prayer.
I'll lift up grenades.
Nope. No clever bit of kit. I ran at the man, doing the chanting, and tackled him. Before he uttered any more words. That was it. That's the secret. Get there before they finish. CO pulled me out of the hangar after. Didn't say a word as we drove back. And I remember thinking, This is what it costs. Not the running, not the noise, the bit after. In the dark, when there's fewer of you than there were in the morning. And nobody's got anything left to say. Anything true left to say about it. It's the first time he looks you dead in the eye at this point. I made the call to pull back before we'd confirmed he was clear. Might have been right, tactically at least. Or maybe I was already starting to lose the plot and calling it tactics after the fact. I never knew which, and I was never asked. Because the man who could have told me isn't somewhere I can reach him anymore. 4 of us into a hangar in 94. Started this with 4 as well, didn't we? I look at that tin now of spam instead of a chuck. Keep telling myself that story to work out where the line is between the calls that were right and the calls that were just me starting to go. Never worked it out. Maybe there isn't a line. Maybe it's just you keep going or you don't. Everything after gets called strategy, whether it deserves to be or not. Fuck. You can't even hear this, but you're the only one left to hear it. So there it is, mate.
And as
It's you and me.
You'll see something kind of click in his head, and then he'll rummage through his bag and he'll pull out the picture of that man in the suit that Barry showed us at the beginning. Just be like, he's just a man. We just need to tackle him.
Yes. Just run at him.
Thank you, Spork.
Put my hand on the back of your head, and the way you've seen me and Chris, me and Mad Dog do it time and time again throughout this mission, I'll just place my forehead against yours. For Mad Dog and for Blades.
I've never been talked off a ledge before. It's usually me doing the talking. Maybe when this is all over, we can buy a dilapidated Range Rover and do it up together.
Yes.
Yeah. Good.
So, I would say probably around now. Conversation elapses a little. It's worth remembering that you've climbed more stairs than you probably could have kept count of had you been trying. You have run, you have fought, you have defied most of the physical laws that you'd come to take for granted before. You're exhausted. And sorry, excuse me, my throat is very dry tonight. And as you sit there, does it restore you entirely? No. But some human moments, conversation, sharing, food and drink, restore you a little. You don't heal any wounds, but you get back to a point where exhaustion is something you're aware of and can push through, whereas before it had been something that was verging on all-consuming, not just physical, but mental. I mean, if I remember correctly, Chuck, I don't think you've got a scratch on you, have you, physically?
I've lost a couple of hit points.
Yeah, so I don't think either of you had taken too much of a physical battering, but the mental and the
Trying to
emotional
regain
toll
4.
Mentally, I'm fucked.
has been pretty major. So you sit there in the darkness for some time, not hours and hours, but long enough that you get cramps in your calves and your thighs, but they also have time to pass. And the idea of climbing any further doesn't seem impossible, just deeply unwelcome.
The lactic acid is subsiding a bit now, I think.
Yes. Yeah, you've done a
I'll be doing
lifetime's
the
worth
whole
of leg day.
knuckles down my quads just to try and release whatever.
My hamstrings will
you
never
stretches.
recover.
So, all this time, spiraling out above you, there's the stairway. It appears to be bone, not just bone-coloured, but grown as a single physical, you hesitate to use the word living, but organic structure. And threading through it, these veins of the green glass that you've seen in the stone of bone. And you realise that the light that is sparkling through them is not what was coming through the doorway. It seems to be, at a guess, fed into the foot of the stairwell somewhere beneath and almost flows through. Maybe through the central column or some other mechanism that this impossible place has that you can't even begin to fathom. But while you're sitting there, as alien as it is in many ways, you can still smell the sort of metallic, salty, earthen smell of real rock in the room around. And in a sense, the sight above you reminds you of starlight. It's like a night sky on another world or something. There's echoes of reality here. It's not what you've grown to know and live with over the years, but it's definitely not where you've been in the lighthouse below. Now that you're out of there, you get, the size and extent and the configuration of it had already shown this, but there's more of an emotional awareness now that where you've been is not some place in the way that you would think of places in the world that you can just travel to and find on a map. It's somewhere else, it's something else. It can't be defined or understood as geography. It's more being. As your aches start to fade, I suppose there would be the growing awareness that there is one job still yet to do. And it sits in front of you and above you.
Why do I feel like it's not going to be as easy as we think?
Nothing in this job ever is.
Our success waits at the top of them stairs.
I will pick the submachine gun up, take the magazine out, look at the other magazine taped to the side of it, and then the third magazine in my chest rig, put that in, check my pistol, check that mag, and another one, and take the shotgun out of the rucksack, load 2 shells into it out of the bag of 12 I've got, or the box of 12, click that back, just shoves that in the top, and then takes the knife out. If all else fails, run at him.
I'll strap
You've got the stone.
Grenade belt. Yeah, I'll check it. It's in my bag. I'm no good at the back. You're going to have my 6 hand on shoulder as I go up the stairs.
Your job. Stone. On the pedestal. Get it done. I'll take out whatever else.
Okay. And the confidence I sense in you when you say that fills me with a confidence that I couldn't muster myself. So I'm living vicariously through your hubris.
Yeah, you definitely get now. Spork's gone full, quiet, professional. Get the job done. And try not to lose any more folks in the process.
So, you set out?
Yeah. As I'm deaf, I can't hear myself making these noises, but you'll hear a lot of involuntary old man, as I'm walking up the stairs. Because my calves are burning.
Tap you. Good.
And as you tap, I think there's danger, so I turn around with my shotgun.
Whoa. Squeeze. Danger. Tap. Information.
Roger that.
So, you're not sure whether it's the short sort of recuperation, rest, just brief lapse in the abuse of your bodies that the day has given you. Going up these stairs is almost effortless. In the same way as sometimes while you were in the lighthouse below, it felt like you were travelling far greater distances than it looked like you possibly could be. Here it's almost like distance and strain and tired muscles and raw lungs are just, they're ideas. They're not hard physical realities. Time's quite hard to track here as well. The pale kind of half light making motion itself seem odd. Not helped by the shape of the stairs and the way that they spiral outwards and losing frames of reference as you do so. At some point you become aware that you've transitioned from walking around the edge of the outside of a screw to somehow the inner lower edge of some kind of like bowl, but without having consciously passed through a doorway or arch or anything else that would indicate that transition. You also are aware of faint voices or the idea of voices. Human voices. You catch the odd word, nothing significant, but human. They might echo weirdly in this space and they're too difficult to actually pick out, but there's something more real about them. And through this you're having to strain your eyes through the gloom. The space itself seems to kind of stretch and bend away, only the steps in front of you, the path immediately ahead, seeming kind of tangible and stable. And you carry on like this, almost trance-like, trudging. Two men
I think
with a
if
job
we
to
hear
do.
voices, sorry to jump in there, I will squeeze Chuck's shoulder, but gently. And just sort of flag, hear voices above. Eyes on a swivel. Fucking stealth all gone.
Now I've got one of those Terminator shotguns, you know, where it goes, I can spin it around and it's one of them ones.
You've got the, yeah, I know what you mean. The
You know what
lever
I mean.
arch type. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that's called, but it's not a very good visual representation for the podcast, sorry, audio listeners. The one that goes, you know what I mean.
You keep moving.
Bolt lever action rifle. There you go.
Thank you, Internet. Sorry, Steve.
And after having become aware, really, of only of each other and the steps in front of and immediately behind you, it's almost like waking up. Not even the steps anymore. In fact, you take one last step, and you're somewhere else. Open plain, pale and extending as far as the eye can see, cast in this kind of green-tinted sepia. Looking around behind you, there's no sign of the stairs or anywhere else you could have emerged from. It's as if you've been walking along this plain. One moment you weren't here, and the next you were. Immediately, the only things that are a note are these kind of tree-like growths that dot the landscape. They vary in size from kind of like nothing bigger than a small shrub, up to things taller than the greatest giant redwood. Their branches are all pale and leafless, stretching up into a sunless sky. Not nighttime, just light seems to be a fact rather than a consequence of something emitting it. As such, nothing casts a shadow. There's no sense of echo. Everything simply is. The ground is wet, as if from very recent rain, like a downpour that's just stopped, a thin veneer of water, making the surface glisten. What would you like to do?
There's nowhere obvious to place my bone stone.
Nowhere obvious to place my bone. Sorry.
There's no pedestal or orifice, no? Right, okay.
No.
I knew it was too simple. I thought, top of the stairs, obvious plinth, plop it on, home time.
Can we see an obvious way to go?
Does the shell tell us?
Who's got the shell? Do you still have it? Or did Mad Dog have it when he fell off?
It's obliterated into 1,000 pieces. Mad Dog had it, did he? I can't even pretend to retcon that.
Did you get the Stone of Bone out?
I can do.
Downstairs you did.
I looked at it, it was in my bag, but I can get it out now.
I wasn't sure whether you had.
Where am I supposed to put this? I'll say in frustration. Just
Look at you and be like, up your ass? Look.
As you do that, it does emit this very mild glow. And looking through the space around it that's just about encompassed in this kind of like slightly deeper tint, almost like it's through the periphery, you catch sight of something on the horizon that you can't see when you're not looking past the stone. There is a tower. A lighthouse, in fact.
Do we both see that, or just Chuck because he's holding it?
Chuck, I would say initially, unless he's kind of thrust it in front of your face, or the Stone of Bone.
I'm kind of thinking, because it's glass and bone, I will gesture for Spork to do it as well, but almost look through the translucent glass bits to see if, like, using it as a looking glass lets me see a different perspective.
Peer over your shoulder through it as you look through it as well.
Ooh. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
Ooh.
Not only can you see a lighthouse somewhere off in this weird forest of ossified trees. You can see that it reaches up to a ceiling that doesn't appear to be anywhere other than above the lighthouse. But then if you try and follow the ceiling away from the lighthouse, it doesn't end. It's only there if you look at it continuously. Made of green glass. And inside that are these shapes, alien figures, mirages, outlined in these kind of pulsing veins or puddles of green light. The lighthouse seems to touch this ceiling and pass through it. The lighthouse itself appears to be constructed from bone, a huge spur growing up. There doesn't seem to be anything else between you and it than distance and these strange bony trees.
I'm thinking, avoid touching all of this. Beeline. Straight for this, and then I'll show you and point to where I was looking through so you can see what I've seen.
Yeah. Gives you the thumbs up. Hand on shoulder.
So the way I'm going to have to put my weapons to the side because I want to hold it so I can constantly see, but even look through the glass so I can see if it changes moves. There's any weird stuff like the place we just were. I don't want it to I don't want it to go horizontal. I don't want it to go. So I'm going to keep looking at that the whole time through that even.
If he puts his weapon down, then my rifle is going to snake next to him and almost be in front. So we are literally inches apart. Like I'm an inch away from your ass right now, with my rifle aimed forward as you move forward.
You travel on. The distance here at least seems to close more normally. Quite a lot of it, but it's passing in a more conventional sense. One thing that you do feel, though, is that no matter how far you travelled in any direction in this plane, it wouldn't really be any distance at all. There would always be further. But thankfully, you are heading towards a fixed point, and that does seem to grow closer. The bone trees pass as you would expect them to as you travel. You don't have much of a sense of place, just of kind of progression. There's a lack of shadows, there's the lack of echoes, you get pulled into this almost like dreamlike state. Pulling yourself forwards in this kind of fugue. And after a while, you feel almost like you're drifting into unconsciousness. You're not. It's that kind of weird awareness you have when you're just on the edge of sleep. And that's when you become aware that something is watching you.
Can I look around instantly at that moment then?
Yep.
What do I see?
Make an alertness check.
Gladly. You fucker. That was an 89. I hate percentile dice. I'm going to use my 50-50 roll if I may, please.
Yep.
Switch. Let's switch dice. Do the smart thing.
Oh, don't fuck it up.
No. Fucked it. 78.
Oh, it's going to be so much worse now.
I fucking hate percentile dice. I'm just going to put that right out there right now.
They hate us.
Just the D10 with extra steps.
I mean, it didn't get any better with my third test roll. That was a 95, but we're not going to take that as any sort of result.
Yeah, you need less of a, dice jail and more of a dice mass grave.
Now we're all
Can't see anything.
Cock. Okay. I will squeeze Chuck on the shoulder with knowing that something is out and just be like, I can't see anything. What do you see through the stone?
Good question.
No
What
shit.
do I see? What do I see through the stone, Steve?
So, in a sense, nothing. In another sense, I guess you could say that the stone looks back. Or the world that you see through the stone looks back. You feel yourself paralyzed, stunned, immobile, maybe just devoid of agency. And I'm going to try something with my microphone that's either going to work or not.
Oh, bollocks.
Do you know what? I thought that was going to be a Stephen Hawking robot voice for a start, and I'm so glad it wasn't, because I wouldn't have been able to deal with it if you'd have gone like, spit in my mouth. I'd have been like, oh, God.
Why would you use that as a phrase?
Family Guy. I don't mean to alarm you, Spork, but I'm getting increasing sense that we might be fucked. Did you hear that as well?
Did I hear that as well?
How did you hear that? Because you did.
Hang on a minute. Say something. I don't think I'm deaf anymore.
Tits and ass.
No, you still can't hear him.
Fuck, I'm still deaf. Then how did
You
did I
heard.
hear that? I heard. Oh God, it's in my head. It's in my head.
Level 7. Level 7. Calm.
You both feel this mounting pressure.
As long as it's not near my butthole, I'm all good.
Well, I mean, it is amongst other places. beneath your skin. And you hear it again. It's a question. Is it? Sounds questioning. Clarification. Above. Below.
Above or below? You got that right?
Yeah. Oh, we've done the below bit. Surely this is the above bit now.
Above?
But then actually, if you look at the tip of the tower, it's above the glass ceiling.
So above?
Above. I vote
There
above.
is another
Above.
thought before you even need to speak. You feel the pressure beneath your skin increase quite rapidly. It feels like your muscles, organs, all of the flesh within you is being clamped. And then a question that turns into more of an exclamation of surprise.
Did I say feed me or save me?
Can I try and
That's
clarify what that said in any way?
We can clarify the microphone is not working. It's a sort of slightly surprised thinking. You feel not just a pressure, but like you are under a microscope, like you are being observed more intently than you could have ever considered possible.
The fuck was that?
Like, that was someone with a tiny penis and a powerful motorbike going past. The sense. Make a. What we're going to go with? Bucket. Occult.
Can I ask this question as I roll a cult? Are we here to help you, or are you here to stop us?
Is that both of us making an occult roll?
Yeah, both of you.
Need to beat a 30.
I needed to beat a 10 and I got a 13, so I still failed, but that's not bad.
Sorry, it was not a 30 I needed to beat a 20 and I've rolled a 26, which is the lowest I've rolled on stream thus far.
Well, congratulations. Proud of you both.
It means fuck all.
Yeah, you're not sure.
We fucked it.
What you become aware of is you don't even form that. In fact, you realise you can't form that question verbally. The pressure is growing. It is very significantly painful across all of you at the moment. There's a hesitation, and it feels like the inspection continues.
At least buy me fucking dinner first.
And then there is just one more word with a slight sense of accusation, but also almost a concern that you would expect from a doctor or someone who's found something that they'd rather not. Muriosis. And from multiple directions, almost in like pockets within your body, you feel this kneading, squeezing, crushing sensation. And it feels like your organs and muscles must be like crushed to a pulp. You're dropped to your knees and then sprawled on the floor. You have no capacity to withstand this in any way. You hear another word. Painted. And the sensation grows and mounts inside your skull.
Let's say tainted, yeah?
Yeah, you say tainted.
And then within your abdomen. And for all the world, you feel like you're going to be sick in a way that you have never been sick before. As the word Hodge reverberates through you, and you feel a surge. As the crush is something more than just physical. It feels like it's clamping down on something which you'd never been properly aware was there. And that thing gives way, tearing and collapsing. In this moment, I'd like you each to think about a value or a belief or one of your bonds that you would latch onto to try and retain your sanity, to keep a focus whilst this, whatever it is, plays out. Spork.
I suppose it's the only bond that makes sense in this series now. Is I had two. Just lost my best friend. The one person I would have died for, and instead he died for me. And I'm going to hold on to the memory of Mad Dog, to Chris. And in my head, I'm almost saying, I'm coming to join you, brother. Fuck!
Chuck.
So, I talked about my bond earlier of I only got out of it with Kevin last time, and he is the fellow survivor, and then I've obviously racked with survivor's guilt. I almost want to, in this moment, not forget about Kevin, obviously, but I almost want to try and transfer this bond onto Spork, so then we can be the fellow survivors together. He is my new Kevin.
I will reciprocate in that moment as well, and if I'm thinking of Mad Dog, I'll open my eyes wincing and see Chuck, and even if I feel like I'm trying to move my hand towards his, and yeah, it would be Chuck, it would be the teammate that's still with me.
Okay, I like that a lot. Can you both roll a d4, please?
God. Come on. I don't know whether low or high is good on this. We're going to find out because I rolled a 1.
Me too.
Okay.
This is how many limbs we lose.
You feel this other hidden thing that churns inside you as it is being squeezed and pulled and wrought from wherever it has been, for however long it has been there. It kind of leaps into your consciousness, and it becomes more than this physical sensation. It's this squirming tide that then melds with that nausea, and you feel it squirming and fighting its way up your throat, and half kind of like pouring, half like fluttering out onto the ground before you, this hot, metallic, tattered scraps of flesh. They splash out onto the floor in front of you. Now you're this close and you've got nothing else to look at. You realise it's the calcified fibres of bone. The floor of this place is bone. And as this gluey mass keeps coming, more than you could have ever contained physically, from wherever this is being drawn from, it just flows. And as it strikes the plane of bone, it changes and it hardens and it grows and it branches out. And when at last it finishes and you lie there limply on the floor, you become aware of 3 things. 1, it is just the same as those other bone trees that you have seen here, creaking and crackling as it hardens. That each of you looks at the one in front of you and there's sort of a degree of familiarity to that one, not to any of the others, just that, like a face you knew really long ago and haven't seen ever since, or a voice from your childhood. Not quite gone, but nearly. Secondly, that thing that you'd never realised was there and that has now been torn free, you can no longer feel. You've lost something you never knew you had. You don't know what it was, just that it was gone. And gone with it the pressure. You're still exhausted, but somehow lighter. And actually, in the moment when you called upon something to pull you through that moment, you found something new. You didn't burn something old. So you each regain 2 sanity.
Oh yeah.
Love that.
And if either of you were suffering from a temporary insanity condition, that also passes.
So my disorder from my breaking point, would that still be there?
If that was a permanent one, then yes. But
Yes, of course it would, yeah.
My temporary one was dealt with last session.
So, looking ahead, it's not far to the lighthouse, and around it the forest of bone grows most dense, either side of the pathway to what you can now just about make out is an open door at its foot. You can still sense the presence of something unfathomable, but you can also sense that you're no longer subject to its attentions. You're back to an irrelevance. but you can also see the lighthouse without looking through the stone of bone. The remaining journey is uneventful. You reach the foot of the lighthouse. And through the doorway, you can see the insides of a more mundane lighthouse with a door and stone flagstones and old stone mortar. The only thing in there that looks in any way out of place is the faint pale green light that winds its way up the central pillar, glowing and fading between the joins and cracks in the stonework. And I think that is probably a good place for us to take a short break, so we have plenty of time for what comes next.
Oh,
We passed the test.
Half. We did. We passed 8. Well, I think we did. That's the worst enema I'm ever going to have. But there we go. Oh.
You know it's a bad enema when it comes out of your mouth. Yeah. Drop the pressure!
I mean, that feels like the only time I felt a purge like that was after like 20 Jaeger bombs.
Yeah, we've definitely been there.
My soul left my body that next day.
I had dysentery in a campsite in France when I was 13.
Okay, you win.
Such insight into people's lives on this.
That has informed some of my deep-seated, unsettling thoughts. Fantastic. Look, guys, I think, as I said, short break. That gives us time to focus on our denouement.
Very good. Amazing first half, Steve. We'll see everybody.
Thank you very much. Probably won't experiment with throat mic again, but you don't know if you don't try.
I think it worked because we couldn't understand it, but we'll do that on Malt Magic and Roll.
Just keep throating things. See what happens.
What got me where I am today?
Right. We will be back in a few minutes.
Oh,
Hey,
Welcome back. I've just realised that I probably should have apologised about a month and a half ago to anyone with any form of emetophobia. It is quite clearly some point of sort of subconscious trauma for me, as was brought up briefly in the break, actually, and having had time to think about it and pour myself what's less Bloody Mary and more like pink vodka. Realised that probably is what's going on. So if you don't like that, I'm sorry, neither do I. At least we're sharing. We will rejoin, having reached the doorway to the bottom of another lighthouse. Well, lighthouse, actually. Pretty normal in here. Recovering from whatever strange hazing / cleansing has just taken place. You get near that door, and you can smell the sea.
This has got to be the last one. There can't be any more.
I think this is it. Ed, swivel, point, and shoot. Nothing on the other side of that is going to be for us.
Nope. Should I have the bone stone out or put it in my bag? So then I've got... What do you think?
You. Stone on the pedestal. And me worry about whatever else is there. Run.
Okay. I'll have bone stone under one arm like an American football, and I'll have pistol in the other hand. And I'll lead us up the stairs.
You step through the doorway into the ground level of the lighthouse.
Oh, fucking stairs.
Yeah, looking around, it's more fucking stairs. Interestingly, though, looking behind you is a closed door. small grated window through which you can see a storm.
Do we hear anything else in the lighthouse?
Make an alertness roll.
Gladly.
I fail.
I needed an 80, and I, no word of a shitting lie, have rolled a 79.
Well, look, progress is progress.
Success.
Yeah, so you can hear the howling of the wind, you can hear the rain lashing down, you can hear the sea. And you can just about hear something else that you can't quite make out. Not quite cutting through all of that.
I'll look at Spork and I'll be like, what do you hear?
Not sure. Sea. Rain. Something else. Go. I'll tap my watch. Time. Go.
You climb.
While he's climbing,
Go on.
I have I've got 2 grenades left and 1 Molotov. Is there any way I can booby trap this door? I'm not a demolitions expert by any means, and this can go horribly wrong.
Yeah, I suppose this comes down to your creativity. If I describe the door, it's iron cast wood, so reinforced. The wood seems maybe slightly worse for wear, but was clearly built to last. The iron's rusted. The little window grate's only sort of so big. There does appear to be some very thick glass in there, almost like you'd expect from a diving bell or something. So any of the noises coming through, it's still quite muffled. There is an internal basic latch mechanism, as in a metal latch. There's no proper lock. It's designed so that it can be secured from inside, but if you're not inside it, it can't be secured so that you can get back in. Lighthouse being fairly critical infrastructure, you want to make sure you don't accidentally lock yourself in.
In which case, having just looked at my craft score, which I think would be what I'd probably use, I'm going to put the grenade back in my pouch thinking I'm not blowing myself up. He's a fairly intelligent chap. Can he make sure that door is locked?
Yeah, that bolts down. It's quite clearly, yeah. It's one of those ones with like a lever mechanism to the bolt.
Nice.
So you deliberately secure it, and you deliberately open it, and when it's one or the other, it definitely is.
And then I'll follow Chuck.
Yeah. Go on. So this is the kind of like a lot of stairs the 43-year-old out of shape Steve would not enjoy. Compared to what you've been through, it's just, some stairs wending their way around the inside wall of the lighthouse.
At least there's a handrail on this one.
Yes, there is. And there is a central column that rises up through the middle of the lighthouse space. As you climb the final step, you see the beacon house at the top. You step into it. There is a central plinth that glows softly with this pale green light. The windows up here clearly weren't built with quite such thick glass. They're very fucking long gone. So gusts of wind buffet you, hard enough that moving around is quite difficult. It's almost like being a little drunk. You kind of accidentally lurch a bit further than you meant to, or take a step and don't go quite as far as you thought. It's that kind of like real gale-forced, almost hurricane-like winds. You are immediately soaked through by the rain, which is coming through sideways from where the windows once had been.
I really miss this fucking weather.
There is a doorway to a gantry around the outside. Again, seems to be mostly stonework, but some iron. Unsure as to how stable it is, but the central mount plinth is there. Now, it doesn't have what you'd usually see as the lighthouse beacon, because why would there be?
So I can see a plinth that I could potentially put the stone of bone on. Spork's told me he heard voices above, but there's no sign of any people.
I would say you wouldn't need an alertness roll, partly because the sound through the wind seems to be growing louder. You don't know whether that's just because there's nothing between you and it, but there is what sounds like the most almighty and persistent scream coming from somewhere out of sight, but not that far away. Somewhere between anger and anguish and relief and agony and frustration and hate and 1,000 other things.
You'd have had to have told me that, Spork, because obviously I'm deaf.
Sorry, realised I was muted there. Can I see where that is coming from? I appreciate the weather is shit.
You can make another alertness check.
Danny, 1, 2, or 3?
3. It's the magic number.
That'll do. That's a 22 under an 80. We're good. Nailed it, mate.
I'll take the credit for that. Thank you.
Even through the wind, you can hear that this is coming from. I'd say set the same a little bit. Even without
That's
being
a crit
on the
as well.
gantry.
I've just realised.
Yeah. Even without being out on the gantry, you can see that there is a wide, long meadow clearing in the centre of this island. Off to one side, you can see 1 or 2 lights of what must be Little Tregor on the mainland. Just about. You can see the lightning still flashing through the storm clouds. But this meadow kind of extends with a winding, sort of probably once stone path, but now more just sort of worn walkway through the grass and the flowers and the bracken, and it heads off towards the kind of other end of the island where it cuts down. And you can see where it cuts down. You can't see beyond, but down the side of a cliff. The scream appears to be coming from somewhere in that direction.
I will tap Chuck on the shoulder and just be like, even in the range, like, that way, you. And I'll point at the pedestal. And I will, despite the rain, I'm going to just try and hunker down a little bit, sort of duck behind where I imagine the gantry is outside. There's a little bit of a wall before the windows are absolutely smashed, and I'm going to sort of just have my submachine gun poking over the top and my eyes just over the top to try and shield most of me from the wind, but still being able to see anything that's approaching. Like, we've got a decent vantage point here. They've got to get through the door. I can lay down some good covering fire from where I am.
Yeah. Okay. Chuck?
I will do what Spork has instructed me to do, and I will try and get the bone stone on the plinth, or head towards that way anyway.
Yeah. That's fine. I mean, it's not a massive space, so you go over. You place the stone of bone, presumably. Actually, no. Looking at the plinth, there is a very diffuse kind of pale green glow coming from this. There's these like spiral-like walls that center in to a point, and that's where the glow comes from. But it's very indistinct, unfocused. And as you place the stone of bone on it, it does somewhat glow through the stone, but not anything like you'd think of as a beacon. And standing kind of contemplating it for a minute, almost waiting for something to happen, perhaps,
Yeah.
You notice that there's a series of indentations. This thing's probably about sort of a metre across. About 2/3 of the way out from the centre either side. In a circle, probably 70 centimetres around, something like that. There's these series of indentations that looks like something else should sit. And as you look at the stone, it too has these kind of like 5 little, what look a bit like feet. Not like human feet, but like little eggs. You feel like there was something here that is currently not. And you would have a reasonable guess that that thing is probably disc-shaped.
Why is the world not saved? Spork, we're missing some bits.
Please don't tell me it's that fucking compass. At
No,
which
it
point
looks...
I realise I've just expleted that and be like, compass?
Oh, it looks like we need a disc. So the legs on the cube, it's not a sort of thing where I just need to turn them and then fall into it, because the gap where that needs a disc is wider than the plinth. It's like surrounding me.
The stone is probably 20 to 25 centimetres across.
Yep.
These are about 70 centimetres from each other. A broad circle.
I'm looking for discs.
I think
Did we see any in the previous place with all the puke trees?
I would say, rather than repeatedly rolling alertness, and I think to reward a critical success, Spork, you kind of like crack the door onto the gantry and lean over. You can, with that 22, make out what appears to be a circular object of probably roughly about this right size, that appears to have been unceremoniously dumped from the top of the lighthouse at ground level.
Fuck! And now I'm going to look at Chuck. Eyes, and I'll point. Downstairs.
Am I staying here? Are you going? Am I going? Do we both go?
Probably the first time, like, Spork's calculating in his head. He's trying to go through all the different permutations here. Like, I've got a good arc of fire from here. I can cover Chuck. But at the same time, Chuck can't hear shit. And I'll just look at him. I don't know. I can cover you.
Okay then. And then I'll start going for it.
What the fuck? Yeah, submachine gun's now up over the side. And at this point, in fact, no, the torch won't be out, but I'll have clipped it onto the submachine gun and I am waiting to just light up anything that approaches near Chuck. And under my breath, fuck, I hope this is the right decision.
Cool. So, Spork, you're watching. Chuck, you hurtle down the stairs. You have to give it a bit of shoulder to get the latch mechanism open, but it does open. And you step out in what feels like a really unnaturally long time, despite the fact that looking at the sky and the fact that the world doesn't appear to have ended, can't have been more than a matter of hours, into the normal world. Outside you feel the rain, you feel the wind, you feel the threat, but you feel threatened at home. You rush out, you turn in the direction of the object that Spork had indicated. It's dark, there's a lot of bracken. What you can see from above is not necessarily what you can see easily from below. Can you make me a search roll, please?
Come on. Don't be shit. Where's search? There we go. Ooh, I'm good at search. 37 beats a 70. Come on.
I'm so glad I sent you out my search. It's 20.
So, yeah, you see it, you get over to it. It's clearly got some mass to it. Not unliftable. More unwieldy due to the size and the kind of circular nature of it. It's a bit wedged into the ground from where it's landed. It appears to be intact. It's quite grimy, but in the rain you can kind of quickly wash away the surface and you're like, this is definitely it. This doesn't look like it's bone and glass. This looks like it's fossilized. Like some part of some ancient buried being shot through with swirls of glass.
Is it a disc with a hole in the middle, or is it just a solid?
In the centre, there is what you can only describe as some sort of halfway between naturally formed and seamlessly carved lens.
Ooh. That's my idea. The way next I was thinking if I had a hole in it, I was going to tie a rope around it to make it easy to drag.
I know what you do to things with holes in them. Not a chance, mate.
Yes.
His reputation precedes him.
So that lens, does it look like, if broken, it could fuck up what we're trying to do here?
Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty sturdy.
Okay.
On, but yeah. The object's a little more than 70 centimetres across, and a little way inside the edge, there are a series of what look like feet. It's about 10 centimetres thick.
Spork from the top of the tower is just whispering to himself, fucking move, fucking get it in.
So, up to Spork's perspective, whilst I'm assuming, Chuck, you're going to try and kind of like extract this from the ground and the undergrowth?
Yep. I've got a machete if it helps.
We'll leave you doing that for a moment. Spork.
Yes.
You see a figure step up from the path at the far end of the meadow out onto the walkway, the pathway. If you weren't already on edge, he's wearing tweed and a pair of very anachronistic circular glasses, clearly worn for effect rather than style or optical, I don't know, optician-y reasons. There we go. I've been doing
so aesthetics rather than function.
Yeah, there's definitely, he's culturing a look. Yeah. He kind of steps out very calmly as if there's no wind or rain whatsoever. I mean, he's drenched, but he seems unbothered.
Range?
Probably 120 meters, something like that.
Okay, in which case I am just going to take a deep breath, just hold. And I'm talking to myself at this point. You ain't going to hear shit from here. Just fucking hold. And I will wait until either Chuck is up here or whatever it is, Mr. Glass Knobhead down there is within 50 metres to not impose any penalties on my shot, but also not to give us away.
So he walks up, kind of like and pushing his glasses up, looking down at the floor in front of him a few paces, and then kind of stops, and he just looks up directly at you.
Keep looking, motherfucker.
And you just get a cheery wave.
At which point, if I know he's looking at me as he waves, I'm just gonna, still with the submachine gun pulled into my shoulder, take my left hand off, and just flip him the bird.
You hear as if spoken just behind you. There's me being so friendly.
I'll sort of like half shout, because I know it's him, but I know it's behind me. And it'll just be... Cunts I don't know aren't that fucking friendly.
And you didn't even look behind you.
I ain't falling for it. He's in my sights. Yeah.
He takes another few steps forward.
Is he within 50 yet?
No, he just within 100, probably.
Okay. Still just tracking.
Yeah, you get a sense that he's smiling to himself, as if he knows exactly what you're thinking.
Come on, Chuck.
It's a rough night to be out. You could...
I don't...
seek some shelter. Comfort.
I'm quite happy up here, thanks. Always enjoyed a nice little storm.
This time it's like the voice is just beside you. Are you going to leave your friend behind, like the others?
I don't know what check to make, but I kind of want to I mean, Spork's been here before. He's got a target in his sights, but at the same vein, he's a human. And it's natural to then start to at least glance to see if there's anything beside me. I will leave that down to you, handler. What do you want me to do in that moment from a check perspective, if I need a check?
I would say you can take your sanity plus your willpower. A little bit of both.
And that's what I've got to beat.
Below whatever the total of your sanity plus your willpower is, yeah.
Okay, Danny, 1, 2, or 3?
2.
2, I think that was, even though you muted. Yes, 2. I need to beat a 46.
Huh!
No! It's a 92. I got excited. I saw a 2.
You look immediately to your left. There's kind of like a flash of what I would imagine is probably significant rage. Glance to your left, there is nobody there. You look forward, and the figure is now maybe 30 meters from Chuck. We'll cut down. We'll cut down to Chuck to see what he's been doing. Busy as he is trying to dislodge this thing. How would you have been going about that, Chuck?
Just before you do that, sorry, would you like a music change, handler?
Yeah, sure. Let's up the tension a little bit.
Yeah, let's do that one then.
Kickstart.
Go for it, Chuck.
My Heart by
I was thinking like
the Crew.
the Casualty music from circa 1997.
So I will have been cutting away bushes, undergrowth, and then almost using my machete to prise it out of the ground if it's stuck into the ground.
Yeah. Cool. So we're going to go with what sort of checks that and what you're carrying with you. Yeah, machete's fairly sturdy, sizable, and you've got. I think, you see, this is not entirely unlike some of the work you'd have done in demolitions, because you have to be able to make sure you've probably set and seated a charge, particularly if it's a directional charge, whether that's because it's trying to be blasting into something to open it, or you want to make sure it blasts out of something and only kills things in one direction. So I would say, well, I was going to say we'll split the difference between that and your athletics, but they appear to be the same number, so beat 60.
Come on, Danny.
58.
Excellent. And now, while you're doing that, can you beat alertness, but with a significant disadvantage, because you are both deaf and concentrating on something else?
Is that a 40% penalty?
So I've got to get below 20.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, that's the wrong way around. I thought 46, and I'm sure I fucked it. Yeah, fucked it.
You are totally oblivious to this figure having approached you, but you are feeling pretty good about the fact that you've done enough that you think you can probably dislodge this with a good heave.
You'll see me squat down, brace myself, proper manual handling, lifting technique, and then
you lift it. It's heavy, but like we're talking 30 kilos heavy, not, stupid. As I said, it's mostly the size and the shape. It's inconvenient to move.
Oh, Mr. Beefcake's got that.
You heave this up on your shoulder, the lighthouse to your left, the field and whatever else is there beyond the thing that you've just picked up to your right. Spork.
If I have seen Mr. Wankering Glasses get close to Chuck, there is no second thoughts. I point my submachine gun towards this figure and I gently squeeze the trigger for a 5-round burst.
Okay. Make your attack roll.
Which is a full auto roll. If I get below 10%, that will be a lethal roll. But, I'm gonna go set one. Come on. Yes! That is a 49, so I succeed, because I had to get below 80. It is not a lethality roll, because I didn't get below 10% now. But I believe that then just takes the 2 values of the d10s there.
Yeah.
Which will be 13 points of damage if I do a 9 plus 4.
Okay.
Just...
The first round or two seem to connect. But very calmly he just steps aside and lets the rest thump into the ground. And this time, from what visually is his location as well, as you see Chuck lift, totally oblivious to this. He can't hear the rounds, he can't see the figure because he's got the mount between him and it. He has no idea this is happening, and the figure you can see now laughing. Oh. Have you ever wondered whether the reason that your CO chose you for Delta Green is of how incompetent you are. He takes off his glasses and wipes them. And then he takes another step so that he is walking in sync around the other side of the plinth as Chuck carries it back towards the entrance to the lighthouse.
So he's trying to cut Chuck off.
He's using it as a shield. You would have to shoot very close.
Danny.
You would have to shoot very close to the top of Chuck's head to cut over the top of this thing to hit him as he walks.
I've got blinkers on one side, essentially. I can't even see what's going on, can I?
And you're deaf.
If I can't get a clear shot from here, then it's reposition moment. I don't think I'm going to be able to therefore get a clean shot from up here. So Spork will look... He doesn't believe in God, doesn't believe in any higher power, but even though he's just going to reach out... I suppose he's been touched by something in the last 45 minutes, and he's just going to look back probably towards the plinth. Don't let them fucking get him, and I'm going to peel down the stairs as quick as I can, even if it's fucking slide down the railing and hope I can somehow land it, but just going to book it down the stairs to get a better vantage point.
Yeah, okay. So you careen down these stairs, kind of like bounce. It was like you're carrying your weapons. You are bouncing like forearm off of the rail so that you kind of careen off the outside wall so that you come down and you see in front of you Chuck just rounding the corner to come in through the door. And on the other side, as if mirroring him, this other figure who just smiles and extends his hand and says, "A pleasure." Chuck, you have got back thinking that went pretty well. To find Spork standing looking fucking crazed, careening down into the doorway, pointing a gun out of it, as far as you can tell, at you.
Sensing his intention and emotions, I will be able to sense a protective element to it, and then I'll just drop and duck. Or squat with this thing. As best I can.
Are you wearing a weights belt?
No, so I've slipped three discs.
We'll roll for your colon in a minute.
If Chuck ducks out of the way and I've got a clear shot again, it's another 5-round burst. I am now trying to keep this thing away from Chuck. So yeah, another 5-round burst. Those dice worked well last time. Come on! No whammies. 73 under 80, that is another success. So that will be 10 points of damage if it hits. But again, I'm just trying to keep it away from Chuck. I should really start tracking ammo. That's 10 rounds.
All of his talent in the first dodge. Good at dodging, but 93 doesn't quite cut it.
Nice!
So, two things that you see here. Firstly, these rounds connect. What's very odd is it's really difficult to work out the extent or the nature of the injuries you are inflicting. You've seen the damage that this weapon can do at this range in tight controlled bursts. It's a human body. You can tell it's damaged, but your mind cannot make sense of how it is damaged. And the face kind of shifts. The jaw doesn't seem right, but there's a... Oh well. I'll leave you to Piazza. And he kind of like stumbles forward, but then rather than falling, just sort of like seems to smudge. Almost as if he's become kind of an imprint on the world rather than in the world. And then that starts to fade. Like a drop of ink in too much water. diffuses outwards. And what you see through where he was is a vast, rising pustule cyst, something that is starting to tower up over the edge of the cliff behind. It is covered in eyes,
well at the back,
mouths. Yeah. But I mean, it's fucking huge.
But it's got a way to go.
It is also, quite obviously, the source of the scream.
If I know that's a distance away and it's rolling over, I'm kind of just going to go, fuck, and I'm going to slide down to where Chuck is and kind of just help him to his feet and look at him dead in the eye. Gotta move. Gotta run.
I'll look behind. I'll look behind. I'll see what
Slap
it is.
him on the face.
Go, 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 go! As the fucking sheer panic and determination comes across him, and it's as I'm running up the stairs, I'll be like, "The green light, stop the sheep! We just need a big fucking green light! We just need a big green light!"
The fucking disc!
Oh shit, I'll go back downstairs for the disc.
In slow motion, as you stand grabbing the disc and you look, it's almost like you kind of look, you start to look back and you become aware that this thing is swelling and swelling, and it ruptures. And it showers these globs of flesh and pus and that weird kind of like fatty visceral material across the entire meadow. You feel it slapping against the back. Make dodge rolls.
Oh.
I was about to say, can I try and close the door, but I will gladly make a
So
dodge
you
roll.
can have a significant advantage on your Spork if you are just inside the door.
Nice. Okay, so I need to roll below a 90. That is a 32. Success.
I mean, it's hard to dodge when you're squatting a big, giant disc. So I failed.
How far did you fail by? Because I'd actually say that would constitute a soft advantage because you've got a fucking huge disc.
Oh, okay. So I needed to beat 50 and I got 60.
Okay, yeah. Fine, so you pass as well. Just.
Amazing.
You feel one of these chunks of flesh hit the thing and slither off onto the floor. The screaming hasn't stopped.
I mean, Chuck can't
And where
hear
the
that,
flesh
but I'm
lands across this, as you haul this thing in through the door, and as Spork's kind of like pushing the door closed behind you, the flesh kind of blooms and blossoms like this kind of visceral fungal growth. It grows and it spreads and it binds together, and you see it knitting across the meadow, and you see it forming up into these like towers, masses, tendrils, polyps, tongue-like writhing strips of carpet that flop and lollop and latch onto each other. And throughout that, there is screaming, and you see one of them has got a very large mouth that has retained some form of cohesion within the chunk that it was attached to. In fact, that's the last thing that you see before you close the door. That piece connecting itself to everything else. It looks like a comically distended human mouth that has been stretched beyond all reasonable proportion to 3 foot across. Toothless gums, wet, torn lips, just letting out this endless scream of what increasingly feels like hate. Just hate. Maybe tinted with a little frustration. Can I have a sanity check, please?
Yes. I think that's only fair. What a time to pull out a 22. Which beats my 42. And that's
I
a critical
rolled
success.
a 77 for a critical fail.
Well, that makes my life very easy then, Danny. You take 1. Spork, you take 4.
3. Shit, I've just hit my breaking point.
You're supposed to be helping me through this.
So, your
Spork's
breaking
been
point.
through the fucking ringer.
Certainly has.
Would we
say
class
that you-
this as a violence-based scenario?
No, it's got to be an unnatural one, surely.
This is
Shut up, Danny.
unnatural.
Shut up.
No, this is unnatural, but it is a combat environment, so you can project onto a bond.
In which case, I am probably in this moment going to be cursing my commanding officer for bringing me into this fucking shit show. I just need to remember what I do in this scenario. Roll 1d4 and reduce your willpower and that bond by the same amount. So I need 2, I think, to get above my breaking point. And I rolled a 3. So I'm going to reduce my willpower by 3. I'll reduce that bond by 3. I don't think that affects... I now need to make another sanity roll, don't I?
Yes.
I'm just looking at this. So I get my disorder because I hit breaking point, but because I then spent my willpower, I think I make another sanity roll to try and pull out of it.
Yes.
Okay. Here we go again. Shit, no, that's 52, so it doesn't beat the 34.
Okie dokie. Well, I think now this probably makes sense. Have quite a significant sleep disorder as a lasting unnatural consequence. This will haunt your nights forevermore. Every different iteration of how it may have played out and how we'll find out it does play out. But the door is pulled closed. It slams shut. You have the presence of mind to just about thunder down on that latch, securing it, as you feel at first nothing. And then you hear a thud against the outside of the tower, of the lighthouse. Not low down. Forceful, not shaking the tower forceful, but forceful. You can hear this sick, kind of gelatinous, squelching, morphing sound taking place outside. It's deeply unpleasant, like the constant fucking squishy glue videos my children watch. Apparently watching people unwrap slime is a hobby. But the door is secured. Chuck, you've got the disc. Spork, you're fucked in the head. What would you like to do?
I mean, I'm probably just looking at the door, rifle still pointed, my eyes are wide, and I'm not turning.
Trudging up the stairs, assuming you're behind me because I didn't hear any of that. Go on. I'm completing the mission, as Spork told me to.
Cool. Spork, alertness check. As you've said you're focused on it, you can have a soft advantage on this, minor advantage.
I just rolled a 2.
Okay. You see...
I mean, it's not a crit, but it's about as extreme as I can get. Go.
Through the little window, against the background of lightning, the fleshy mass, this kind of abundance, knotting itself and knitting itself together into this vast, muscled lash, dozens of feet across, 30, 40 metres. And it hits the side of the lighthouse, probably about 5 or 6 steps up in height from the side. And it lands that hit. You can see it whip through the light. You can see it come around just in front of that little porthole. Little flakes of stonework and dust shudder down. Chuck, you feel the chips of stone hitting you, feel the stairs lurch beneath you. In fact, can you make probably just a dex check, to be fair?
Oh, nailed it. 39 beats an 85.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so you retain your footing, probably slightly using the weight of the disc as a counterweight, kind of leaning in towards the wall rather than away. You are heaving that up the stairs as quickly as you can. You said it's 30 kilos, so it's not light, but it's not cripplingly heavy. You are moving a little slower. Spork, what do you do?
I think at that point, having probably snapped out of this moment, yes, I ain't sleeping for the next 17 years, but I will back up the stairs as quick as I can, sort of that half looking back to make sure I'm not going to trip up, keeping my vision down towards the door to eventually get up to the point where I can semi-help Chuck, but also keep his back covered.
Okay, cool. So, one of you roll me a d3, and the other one roll me a d6, which those in the know are the same dice.
But I would just... Do you want to do D3 or D6? Do you want to do maths, Danny, or not?
Yeah, I'll roll it and half it.
Okay, I'll roll the D6. That is a 6, which I'm hoping is good.
I got a 1, which I'm hoping is also good.
That's a 1, isn't it? That's a 1.
I rolled a 2 and half it.
About a third of the way up. No, nearly halfway, actually. Nearly halfway up. And there is another colossal thud. Like, really colossal. Mortar shifts in the wall. 3 or 4 steps behind you. Some of the very old stonework doesn't fall through, but is clearly impacted hard enough that it has shifted. Immediate reactions?
I'm cursing camel toe at this moment.
Aren't we all?
Your trousers are really tight.
All of the above.
You should have worn panties for this one.
But I'm hoping I am moving up enough to the point where if Chuck sort of wobbles, I can catch him in half the disc, even if it's just one hand behind me to help him with the submachine gun still pointing down the stairs.
Yeah, for what it's worth, you don't see any movement down around the door at all.
In which case, just slung and helping to lift this. I mean, it's 30 kilograms, so between us, it's piss, I imagine.
Right, okay. Can I have a D10 roll from each of you then, please?
Sorry, Danny.
8. 9.
Right, no, okay, yeah, cool. You grab this thing and you heave it. Between the two of you, there's no rearguard action here. There's no watching your six. There is, this thing needs to be upstairs fucking now. As you do, there's another absolute thunderous blow to the side of it. The stonework that had become loosened before flies into and down the lighthouse. Rain and wind whipping through. You can just about make out some kind of like towering fucking monstrosity outside. And that is exactly what you see at eye level outside of the gantry as you take those final steps up onto the inner beacon. This huge seething mass with these fucking gigantic pseudopods and eyes blinking out of sequence, kind of maddeningly all over it. Dozens, hundreds of mouths of different sizes, all toothless, babbling, and then this one stretched, somewhere between a scream and a grin. A really fucking smug grin, but screaming now in hate and also in victory as it starts to twist away. It's not fast, but it is powerful. You get up onto the top, it lands another hit on the wall. Can you both please make me an athletics check? And this is with a minor disadvantage, as you are also carrying a huge disc between you.
That's a minus 20, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So I've got to beat to 40.
Oh, shit. The bed. 59 on a 60.
76 on a 40.
Okay. So, you tumble into the beacon room, keeping hold just about, thanks to Spork's efforts, of the disc. Just. It clatters off the corner of the stairwell. You feel it slip. You grab it, and your fingers hook behind one of the little foot peg bits, and you just manage to hold on to it as you both spill backwards. This thing is sort of half turning. It's clearly been trying to slam into the side where you have been coming up, and it is now reorientating itself to look more directly at you. What's really disturbing is this huge mouth seems to kind of flow through the flesh, so it's screaming at you regardless of which direction the rest of it seems to face. But you have tumbled onto the floor at the foot of the plinth.
We've got to get it on!
Spork, Spork, you're first to act. The wind is loud, the scream is... frankly, whether Chuck was deaf or not is irrelevant. Hearing anything over this scream is basically impossible, right? You can't hear Chuck either. So you have spilled out. Communication is difficult. Circumstances are less than ideal. You've got this disc. What does Spork do first?
If we've both got the disc, my first reaction is just try and throw this. Or not even throw it, but that sort of shove to try and get it in place.
Well, I tell you what, let's do this as a luck roll. While you're making that luck roll, Chuck, what are you doing?
Securing the Mana Stone into place. So then as soon as that's locked in, hopefully it'll turn on and do what it's supposed to do.
The Stone of Bone clearly would sit on top of this thing. It's got little indentations around that lens bit in the middle.
So I'm ready then to plonk it in as soon as Matt doesn't fuck up his roll, which I'm assuming he did.
Spork is not a lucky man. I've just rolled a 77, which is a fumble.
So you shove it too hard and it sails off the other side of it.
Fuck!
One of the sort of limbs of this thing strikes the side of the gantry.
Shit.
That's a lot of zeros. It completely obliterates the wall and the gantry to one side. The lighthouse is now open. It pulls back, again, weirdly ponderously. When it wants to act, it can move quickly, but it's got this it's almost like it has to draw itself into shape, and then it launches. There's no... In fact, you'd realise this in a moment. There's no skeleton to brace against. This flesh is free of the tyranny of bone. It is not held back. It is not constrained by shape or form. It can bend and twist and warp and reform itself however it wants. But with that, there are some slight drawbacks. One of those is you've got nothing to brace against. It's less throwing a punch. It's more building up a pressure and launching a kind of like meaty slap at the side of whatever it wants to hit. And it has just done that with extreme force on 000, wiping out the side of the tower.
As it ponders, is it close enough for us to actually do anything? Or is it still far away and it's just got a really long arm?
Oh yeah, no, this thing's like just outside, mate.
Okay, so as it leans back to kind of get its momentum to swing back, can I just chuck every grenade we have at it to then hopefully, as it's using its momentum, knock it off its momentum and it'll fall backwards? It's got nothing to brace himself against because it's got no bones.
Danny, you know me well enough that I am going to allow any and all irresponsible uses of explosives. So,
how many you got left, Matt?
I had the. If it's just well, it depends. So I've got 2 grenades and 1 Molotov.
Yeah, and I've got a grenade and a flashbang. Let's lob them all.
Yeah. Which is so cinematic because you never pull the pin out with your teeth.
I use my clenched
that
buttock to pull the pin out
of an enclosed space. There's something large that's slapping.
Oh, you
into
just
the
said
space.
we've opened up half of this fucking gantry.
Yeah, well, the bit on the other side's enclosed.
I thought we had a big
this thing doesn't play tennis, right?
And we're throwing against the wind, so it's just going to.
Why would you give us more disadvantage, Danny? Like, why would you stack the odds?
I mean, this thing's fucking massive. You're not rolling to hit. You're rolling to see how much, like, what the effect is here.
Yes.
Shit.
So
if I roll below lethality, that'd be amazing.
You're doing that. This disc has sailed across the other side of the plinth. It's not left the tower, because thankfully that's the side that still has a wall, but it's skittered onto the floor.
I had to beat 85. Guess I rolled a 93. Can I do a 50-50?
I need to roll an athletics check.
Are you feeling lucky, Bob?
I am feeling lucky. And I got a 55, so I fucked that and all.
But I got a 39, which means both of mine sail.
Mine go out and blow back in the bottom of the lighthouse.
What was Chuck throwing?
A grenade and a flashbang.
I'm going to say on a 55, can you roll me D20?
Oh, no.
13.
13. Okay. So the good news is that you bin the grenade down the stairwell.
Good.
Spork's grenades go fine. Sail true over Chuck, who's apparently forgotten how to use basic motor skills in this moment.
My arms are tired from carrying the disc.
Your hands are slick with rain. Mm-hmm. The grenade just sails out your hand. It flies down the stairwell. The flashbang does go in the direction that it's meant to go in, but probably not as far out of your line of sight as you'd like it to.
I joked I might go deaf and blind this episode.
Spork?
Shit. Yes.
Spork, can you make me an alertness roll? Because if ever there's anything that you want to be alert to, it's this.
You've got to be kidding me. I needed an 80, that's an 81. I'm going to use my luck. Yeah, no, fucked it.
I need to survive with these rolls.
We're so good at this. Special forces.
Right.
8%.
So the good news is there's a grenade that goes off harmlessly downstairs, and 2 that go off quite harmfully outside that do cause this thing to surge back and sort of wilt. You've clearly torn a fucking chunk out of its trunk, also, whatever the fuck you describe it as, further down. Right, so it kind of wilts. You definitely can tell it's impeded. However, the other thing that you can tell just as it's impeded is that Chuck's flashbang has bounced off of the edge of where the gantry was, kind of arced up, and goes off at about eye level. So you both know there are two things. One, you have a brief window of opportunity whilst you're not having this slam into the building. Two, you are both suffering from the effects of being flashbanged. It's a bit like Flashdance, only more sore. So I think that's minus 40 on checks?
On all rolls, yeah. Minus 40% on all rolls, because we are now stunned.
You need to do what you need to do. And I would say, from the impartial position of the handler, you probably need to do it quickly. I would like 3 actions from you each as to how you immediately deal with this, and we will alternate. So, Chuck, you realise you fucked up quite badly. You know the thing's fallen over somewhere behind you. You know Spork is somewhere between you and it. You know that forward is not a direction you want to go in. The stairs are to your right.
And the disc is to my left.
You could probably feel that you could go straight backwards. Either would probably lead you into the space. I'm giving you that much information and no more. What is your immediate response?
I will move in the direction that Spork overthrew the disc, and will be like Velma looking for her glasses, hands and knees, trying to find the disc.
Okay. Spork, what's your first immediate response?
I mean, apart from just fucking clutching my ears, I'm also going to be scrambling backwards to try and find this disc.
Ooh, that's a point, actually. Chuck, you only have a 20% disadvantage because you're not suffering from the disorientating audio effects of a flashbang.
I'm just a little bit...
If I have understood how they work correctly, they are a sensory overload weapon. Yeah. You didn't hear that, so you're at minus 20. Spork, unfortunately, you're owned.
Come on.
So, sorry, Spork, you're doing what?
Scrabbling backwards to try and just... I know I threw the discs that way, so it's just sort of...
Yeah.
But again, it's that sort of... my ears are ringing like absolute tosspot, and I can't see shit, so I'm just feeling at this point to scrabble back to try and find it.
You stumble back into the central plinth, kind of like grabbing onto it, start feeling your way around. Chuck, you've kind of gone a little bit wide around him, you're feeling around on the floor. Chuck makes search roll, and Spork, I would like to have an athletic roll.
With a 40% penalty, I need to roll a 40 or lower.
I thought, I'm good at search. Even with a minus 20, I can nail that. Not when you roll a 96, you can't.
Yeah, I got 73, so we both fucked that.
Okay, Spork, you trip over backwards, falling over Chuck as he circles around. However, on the plus side, you do bang your head painfully on the edge of something that feels a lot like a disc. So, this time, Spork, your second action in this.
I mean, if I've just smacked my head off the disc, it will be rub my head, but turn and try and lift and drag that. I mean, I still can't see with I imagine the sensory overload is incredible, so I can't hear, I can't see, but I'm grabbing the disc and just trying to drag it back to the plinth bit that I've just bounced off anyway.
Okay. Chuck, what are you doing? You would be vaguely aware, because you realise that what you were seeing of intent wasn't seeing intent. It's like an awareness of there being intent. You are vaguely aware of where Spork is, and you can see his direction of travel, and you can get a sense that he's doing something very purposefully that would make you think that perhaps he has the thing.
I'll make my way to where Spork is and try and get back to the plinth, thinking I think he's got the disc. So I need to be ready with the cube.
Okay. Yeah, that's reasonable. So I think that both of those things we probably pass without a check. You have managed to hold the thing as far as the plinth and up onto it. You need to guide it onto the rails. And Chuck, where's the stone of bone?
Well, I was ready to put it on, and then this bing was out, so I put it back in my bag before I lobbed all my grenades.
Okay.
So I have it on my person.
Okay. That's good. I'm glad you didn't say you put it down on the floor, because that would have been quite inconvenient for you. Cool. So you need to somehow make sure that this thing lines up with the grooves.
I'm going to thumb it in. I'm going to have to use my fingers. I can't use my sight, so I'm going to have to try and read Braille, figure it out.
Spork, how would you be planning on trying to not yeet this across the plinth like a cretin?
Sorry, the stone of bone?
The disc, which you shunted unceremoniously across it like an air hockey disc.
Oh, I know. So I imagine I've got to try and pull it up onto the plinth anyway. So it's not I'm not absolutely chucking it. I'm almost dragging it. So if I'm dragging it over, I imagine I get to a point where it sort of slots into place anyway, or at least sort of feels like it's in place. At which point I'll sort of stop and be blinking like no tomorrow just to try and get any semblance of sight back.
Make me a constitution roll. This is not a disadvantage. This is a great con.
It's a 39! And I need it to be to 55! We succeed!
Like the worst hangover of your life, but you can just about see.
What?
Chuck, can you also make a constitution roll, please? No modifier.
Minus 20, come on.
No, you don't need a minus 20. Just roll it straight.
Okay. Still fucked it. I got 75 and I needed to beat a 70.
All right. Well, win some, you lose some. Sport you can just about see. You can see Chuck trying to move this. You can see his fingers kind of grasping for something. You register that there needs to be some positional element to this. I'd like you to describe what you do, and I will tell you how we modify the subsequent luck roll.
So I still can't see Spork. You're gonna have to lock it in for me. There's matching divots. Just get it in there.
At which point I'll reach out for the stone of bone and almost grab Chuck's hand in a pure ghost moment and just try and pull it down to the centre and rotate it into the right place, if I can see anything.
The thing outside rises back up, this huge jagged tear down its side. You feel it almost testing the tower. There's a couple of judders as it sort of bounces itself off. You see the stone rock slightly. Can you make a luck roll, please? And you can have a minor advantage on this as you are both trying to guide this.
So 70 or lower.
$41.
20 on the money.
That's quite lucky. So the first pesting slap of this thing as it recovers itself causes the disc to settle slightly. Not quite aligned until that moment. The little pegs dropping into the plinth. And you see, as you bring the stone of bone in to click it into position as well, that diffuse light, that vague kind of dim glow, running through the swirls in this disc towards that central lens, and pooling, not like liquid, swirling into the middle of it and growing in intensity. You put the stone down as the next hit lands. You rock forward on it, just about holding on, with one hand on the stone, the other hand on Chuck as he staggers. And for a moment, nothing happens. You hear the feet seating themselves in the indentations. You see the glow beneath it. And then almost like it's slowly filling from below, the lighthouse shakes again. And now you smell burning flesh. And the lines and the shapes in the glass of the stone of bone grow brighter and brighter and brighter. You see the thing fuzzily through your still reasonably fucked vision, drawing itself back once more. You saw what it did last time it landed one of these hits, and you know that there won't be another time after this one. And as it lurches forward, you are blinded by a light that comes out of this stone almost like a flood, like a tangible material flood. This is not a warm light. There is no heat to this. In fact, quite the opposite. It feels like it strips the heat from everything. It's not freezing. It just removes any sense of warmth or life from the area around you. The screaming thing grows louder and louder as it climbs back and forward in this last attempt to dislodge you. And as it heaves forward, the lighthouse itself awakens. You see this crown of bone spurs that erupt from around where the gantry should have been, spearing into the flesh that has been hurling itself at the recently lifeless stone structure. The green light shines, the world is drowned out around you, the smell of burning flesh increases, there is a sizzling, there is a popping. The eternal screaming of what was once Howard Piazza rises to this hellish peak and then abruptly stops, replaced by the sound of something huge and wet detonating. You feel these oddly dry scraps scatter across you, smell of smoke and ash. You feel them burning holes in your clothes. You feel the burns of your skin as they hit you and tumble to the floor around you. You can still see the light even through closed eyes. It flares, and as it does so, you feel yourself descending into a blissful blackness where no light can reach. Nothing passes. No time, no light, no sound, no thought. Interrupted by pain, and confusion, and a growing awareness of sound. I met a man who won't come around for some good whiskey. Something smells sharp, earthy, medicinal, boozy. Not many people know this, but the sense of smell is the only one which bypasses your conscious mind. It goes straight in via the back door. That's why certain smells from childhood will trigger incredibly vivid memories in the way that a sight or a sound won't. And the scent of whiskey, really good whiskey, cuts through the aches and the burns and the jagged thoughts just enough. There's a lot of unknowns, but individually, No. Let's say Chuck first. You know you're alive. And someone appears to be waving a bottle of whiskey under your nose.
Am I still deaf?
You can't hear anything.
Spork, where the fuck have you got a whiskey from? And then realising, where the fuck would Spork have got a whiskey from? And then I'll open my eyes like, Barry?
Spork at
Where's
the sound
Spork?
of your name.
And then I realise, like, where am I? Where's he? What's
The first
happened?
thing you see, Chuck, is an Artex ceiling. Spork, you hear your name and pick up the vicarious waft of whiskey fumes.
Almost like that, the moment where smelling salts are sort of wafted under your nose. I'm up. The rifle is pointed, and the only word that comes out of my mouth is Chuck!
It takes you a moment to realise there is no rifle. And that you've sat bolt upright on the edge of a table, surrounded by a handful of people. Chuck is on the table next to you, flat on his back, staring at the ceiling, whilst Barry Cameltoe waves a bottle of whiskey under his nose and looks up at you and then to the man next to him. See? Told you it works. Good as new, aren't you, lads?
Why am I just in my pants?
Well, there were some burns and hairs and, well, some other things as well, but we won't tell nobody about those. You, he looks at Spork. Can you hear me?
I assume Chuck is in reaching distance.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna sort of place my hand on his shoulder and give that gentle squeeze, but double squeeze this time. Not like danger, but safety. And then I'm gonna look at Cameltoe. No, we can't. And I am gonna swing for Barry.
Okie dokie.
You can't be chinning Baz, poor old bugger.
I fucking can be chinning Baz. He sent us into the absolute shit show, which meant I lost my best mate. So the first thing I'm doing is absolutely chinning him.
Go on, then.
And I'm happy to make an unarmed strike.
Go for it.
Where am I? Can't see for looking. Can't see for looking. Unarmed. Oh, let's move them out of the way.
Mine's a 60, so yours might be the same.
I rolled a 74 and I needed to beat an 80.
Well, he rolled an 8 on his dodge. So he just grabs your hand, and it's like fucking punching brickwork. I don't know if anyone's ever had bartender hands, but combine those with Special Forces and Delta Green hands, and you've probably got something that's like what elephants compare to
Like
leathery.
when Captain America punches Thanos, he just catches it.
Yeah, it's like a rhino's bunion. What, yeah.
I'll give you that one, Barry. Fuck.
You don't want me to spill this? It's expensive stuff. I'm saving it for you. But I do understand the frustrations. So we say. Another figure kind of steps out slightly from behind him. That's enough, Agent Ball. Barry Cameltoe turns to me and goes, Fuck off, Colin. He knows my name. The last thing they need is more nonsense.
At which point, hearing Colin, I'm going to look at Barry and go, oh, thank you. Colin, you can pour the fucking whiskies.
That's
Realising that I'm still
Agent
laying,
Aries
looking
to you.
Go on. Sorry.
That's Agent Aries to you. And we should maintain some degree of opint around here, please. Barry looks and goes, save your God of War bollocks for them that needs to be impressed. You're a Colin if ever I met one. Get out of the way, I'm getting a glass.
Cunt.
3 glasses.
So I realise I'm still laying flat looking at the ceiling. I had the reassuring squeeze from Spork, so I'll sit up and realise I'm in a room full of people. Who's that Colin-looking cunt over there, Barry?
Spork's going to lose it and just hold his hand out for a whiskey.
You are in the Lighthouse Keeper's Respite. Actually, the back bar, well, not the back bar, the back room where the pool table is, appears to have been turned into some kind of like local comms centre. There are various people in Spec Ops kit wandering around. There's even some people in NBC suits just outside the window with what appear to be flamethrowers. Colin appears to be Agent Aries, who had briefed you in the first instance, and Barry doesn't seem to give a flying fuck about anything relating to rank as he gives him the finger whilst very pointedly pulling out 3 whiskey tumblers, pouring large measures, and heads back over.
I'm sorry, Barry, I'm a bit deaf. I can't hear what you're saying, but I can see you're a genuine guy. And I appreciate that.
Thank you, Danny. Because Barry looks at you. He carefully puts the glasses down. And he reaches out and just puts 3 fingers on your forehead. And you hear...
Well, at least it's on your forehead.
Well, that's no good, is it? But, in my experience, what they takes away, they sometimes give something new. There's all sorts of tricks you can learn from that, if you're willing to give it time. Spork, you don't hear that. Barry's just staring at Chuck. And then he looks
finger
at you.
in my mate's head.
I'll try and say something back in my head, but I'll just say it out loud. I'm like, you got to teach me that, Barry.
Barry looks at Spork and goes, hypergeometry is an amazing thing. You stay alive long enough in this job, you can pick up all sorts of tricks before you go fucking mad. Anyway, in Dickhead Air wants to give you a debrief, so I'm going to make myself scarce. And steps away.
Barry?
Agent Aries, AK, yeah? Go on.
Where's my gun?
Oh, you get that back, don't worry.
No, where's my gun?
You're in the bar. But you're not having it right now. We need to make sure you're in a little bit sounder mind before you do anything quite that pointy on your person. You'll understand later.
All right. Okay.
For the record, Barry looks a little bit battered.
He's probably been through the ringer and all, hasn't he? To be fair.
He's been defending Little Tricor by himself like an absolute fucking hero.
Probably hasn't been sat in the pub the whole time now. He steps away. And Agent Aries looks at you. Well, he looks at Spork, particularly. You'll have to translate for him.
I'm deaf, not French.
Use your hands. Use your hands, he'll get it.
Successful. Very impressive. We've clean-up teams going house to house. But it seems unlikely anything above ground survived.
About the other lad that Barry had up top.
I'm not at liberty to say.
Right. Can't even remember your fucking name at this point. I lost 2 mates on this job. So this whole idea of you're not at liberty to say can fucking end right here.
He looks at you coldly.
Oh, I'm gonna stab some fucker in his sleep.
For the record,
Get on with it.
He's bone dry and in the suit as smart and clean as it was when you saw him before.
Can we hurry this along, Colin?
You've done a good job. It's been recognised on your files. Our files. There has been an unfortunate escape of highly toxic gases that built up in the old mines that run under Little Tregor. An official quarantine has been put in place. The death toll is unknown and unfortunate, but likely near 1,000. However, the source has been addressed, and there is no further danger to life. You were travelling in the area and were exposed upon the periphery, fortunately surviving, treated in a field hospital that the authorities quickly and efficiently set up to deal with the issue, released a little time later with no lasting harm.
Just one thing. How are we gonna... This plate doesn't get any tourists. How can we explain we were passing through?
Many tourists pass by Little Tregor.
Okay.
Or maybe you could have been staying at the hotel. Although, unfortunately, we've had to close that as well, for the time being.
And you said something about my file. I'm assuming I'll have a recommendation or a fancy star. Can the record also show that was not a level fucking 7? That was at least an 8 or a 9. Like I know what that means.
And he just stares at you. And then looks to Spork. I understand you will need transportation home.
You owe me a fucking car.
Quite so, all in good time. However, until then, he hands you a pair of train tickets. One of the teams outside will take you to Bude. You can get a train from there.
Sir?
You will be fully reimbursed for your vehicle.
As possible. It's not what I was going to ask, actually. We lost 2, but I only know one is proper gone. I would like to request to go back under and recover Mad Dog's body, if it exists anymore.
He kind of like clenches his jaw and sort of like works his cheek muscles, or like not chewing, kind of like underwear.
I'll look to where Barry is. He knows.
I think you've had a very trying time. I understand that you may be a little confused by things right now. I understand, and believe it or not, empathize deeply with the loss of your friends. You will find very few people within the organization who do not know what that feels like. But it would be best if you headed home under your own volition.
Understood.
You did well.
Fuck off.
The right choices are the ones that lead to a successful mission. The lucky ones mean that you're one of the ones that sees through that success. Ask for nothing more, because there isn't anything more. I wish you the best. And he literally just turns on a heel and walks away.
I think it's safe to say I ain't getting on no bastard train. I'm nicking the first van I see out there.
You sit, trying to gather yourselves. Probably shifting from the edge of the table to seats. Barry wanders over, deposits the bottle, and then wanders off and starts yelling at the people who've set up a small comms desk on his pool table that they should find somewhere else to work because he's got a pub to run. There's sound, there's bustle. How you leave this place and head home, we'll leave perhaps to find another day. But all we know is that at some point you do. And over the coming days, Little Tregor slowly returns to normal. Delta Green cleanup teams administer drugs designed to repress the memories of recent events. The story of the toxic gas leak takes root. The dead are mourned, and the living do what the living always do. Gradually make sense of things. They fill in the gaps in the explanations. The things that don't make sense, they plaster over things with things that do. And they find a new normal and move on, because that's what living is. But there's no closure for those in Delta Green. No peace of mind, no happy ever after. Just the satisfaction of a job well done. Well, a job done, well or otherwise. And whatever respite can be found between jobs. For some, albeit very few, that might mean a family, careers, and at least the appearance of success. For others, it means loneliness and hardship, addiction, and a doomed rearguard battle against their own despair. At a table in an otherwise empty pub, closed for the night, two men sit, each with a pint and a fish finger sandwich. Look, I knows how it is. Still remember when I got inducted, if you can call it that. Can't tell you the details, of course, but fish people was involved, if that helps for some context. Never thought it'd be the same after I was, back then. I was right, I suppose. But we're in the end. Just another beginning, see? We had the pros in after you lot, while you was out cold upstairs, and they fared barely any better than you lads. Well enough, but this one was bad. He went in, some of them came out. We're to tell the tale. Meanwhile, bunch of no-marks from fucking nowhere. Whole world gonna shit around them, scared out of your minds, and you did just as much as they did. No bad word about the others, because surviving ain't a virtue. It's just an outcome. But they were prepared in a way you weren't. Anyway, point to all this, Tone. We needs another lighthouse keeper. One that can keep an eye on the lighthouse above. Powers that be have had guys and gals down in the mines, sealing up what needs sealing up. But that was too close for comfort. So, no rush or no pressure, but you wants a job, there's one going. Pays crap, no time off. Company's not necessarily great. Whiskey's not bad. You'll get some time to yourself. Work through wherever you need to work through. And you'll be doing a good job for the world. Whether you knows it or not. Whether they knows it or not. But best be sure. Because once you's in, you's in. Interested? And as we pan out from the window, Barry Cameltoe lifts one half of his fish finger sandwich to his lips and bites into it. staring across the table, waiting for a response. And the world turns, and little Tregor does go on. And whilst in the shadows and behind the corners that no one can see, there's a war being fought. No one would even know there was a threat. Because that's a burden that's carried by Delta Green. Alone. Without any real thanks. Without any real hope. Because surviving is just an outcome. Thank you all very much.